Thanks for showing up, everybody, and welcome to Facility Fridays. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. I'm loving the weather outside. I think it's really great. So that it's sunny, but not as hot as it has been. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat, and I don't know why they say frog in the throat, but that's so bear with me. I apologize. This week we're going to talk about Comcast cable boxes, DVR, and how to use a remote control. So just so everyone understands that and we're in the same place for the same thing, we'll get started here right now. Okay. Let's talk about what's new. There's a lot of things. The new cable box is called an X1 cable box. It comes with a new remote control that should look a lot like that. And it has a voice command feature, which I will go over. And then it also has a DVR, and it means a digital video recorder, and that's how you record programs now, and it's all stored on the box. We're going to go over that process and just some of the great things about the remote and how to use it. So let's get started. I actually brought a remote, not that anyone can see it, but because I can barely see it, and I'm right here. But so I got a really big one. It's the same one right there. Okay, so let's go on. Let's move on. So we're just going to kind of quickly go over, and what I'm gonna have is probably have this as a printout that you guys can have, and as you get used to navigating the new remote control, because it's a little bit different than the old one. It has a lot of things that are the same. A lot of the buttons are in the same place, but we have some new buttons that do some new things. And so this is kind of an overview of the most important buttons. And if you guys ever have any questions on how to use it, like I said, we'll probably have this handout at the front desk. But we'll also, you can put a work order in for facilities, and we will be happy to come up and show you guys. But there's some great learning tools that are on HH Connect that'll kind of walk you through this process as well. But let's start here with the remote control. It's really great. I recently, maybe a year ago, got the same thing in my condo, and I had the old kind of a cable remote like we used to have, and then this one was kind of I don't want to say overwhelming, but it's different, and it took me a little bit to get used to it. So I'm not saying that I'm an expert, but I'm kind of an expert. All right, so let's talk about it. We'll start at the very top. There's a power button at the very top here. I kind of wish I had a pointer, but you can kind of see it at the top there. And the power button really turns on the cable box. And in most cases, 99.999%, we have paired that to your TV, so it actually turns your TV on and your cable box at the same time. So that's up there. Just not to get it confused with the old remote, it was on the opposite side. So, and at the top on the opposite side, you have the TV input button. And what that does is that enables you to switch between, let's say, your cable box, and if you have, let's say, Apple TV, or you have a Roku, or you have another device, a DVD player, or something else. It allows you to switch between the input, whatever comes into your TV screen. Most of the time, it's not, and that's not something I would really use unless I'm taking in content or video from another source. So think of it that way. You're just changing the source. Okay? There'll be questions at the end. All right? That's right here at the top, the TV input. I will say that when you power it on and power it off, the remote and the TV are smart enough to remember where you were last. So if you were watching cable before and you turn off the TV and you turn it on again, you'll be watching cable again. And only if you want to change the input, the source, let's say you wanted to watch something on your Roku or or Apple TV, then you would change using the input button. All right? That That's probably coming in on an Apple TV or a smart device, and that will be a different input. Yes, it will be Netflix too. Yeah. So let's and I'll have questions. We'll take questions at the end. So the volume button, where you control the volume, which is usually tied to the TV as well, unless in some cases if you have a sound bar, it might not connect, and you might have to use an external remote for that. And some of them are smart and allows you to use the volume control for not only your TV but your sound bar. So you have a volume up and down, and there's also a mute button in the middle where you can mute it. You can also, the old-fashioned way, use the channel up and channel down button, and that will simply move the channel that you're watching up one or down one. And that's all that does. We're going to kind of skip over the record button in this section for a second. We're going to come down to the guide and Xfinity button. So, and then I'll get back to the record button. But the guide button, if you're watching a channel and you want to know a little more information about what you're watching and, more importantly, what comes on next, that's where you'll hit the guide button right here. And it'll display, and on top of what you're watching, and you'll still be able to hear the sound, it'll display a little more information about what you're watching. So whether that be the program you're watching, the channels that are surrounding it, and also what's coming up in the future. So let's say I'm watching something right now, it'll show me what's coming on at noon and afternoon. And you can kind of, using this device, this guy right here, this adjustment, I kind of call it a trackpad with these arrows. It'll allow you to scroll back and forth, but that's an advanced course. We'll get to that in a little bit. But the guide allows you to see a little more information. Anytime you have a menu that comes on the screen and you don't want that menu there, you want to hit the exit button. The exit button is a great way if you get into trouble and you're like, hey, wait, how did I get here? If you hit the exit button, it'll go back to the default screen, which is whatever program you're watching. Does that make sense? So I always remember the exit button is a really powerful button, and it helps. It really helps if you get into trouble. All right. So the Xfinity button right next to it is it's kind of a menu button, and the menu button with the Xfinity, it gets you into a menu, which we'll talk about in a little bit. It'll let you know if you have any programs recorded, if you have anything that you have set to record in the future. It really is just information in a menu button. And again, if you hit this button, it will and you want to get out of it. What do we do? Exactly, exit button will get rid of that. All right. Okay, let's go back up to the record button. So, and we're going to talk about how to record programs, but this is the basic way to record a program. And I'm going to use an example that's probably going to work best for everyone. So, let's say we're watching something on HHTV, right? Channel 370. And I want to watch this program, and I'm watching it right now. You simply hit the record button, and at that moment in time, it will start recording. And it will record the program that you're watching right there. All right? And you can watch it, and once you're done, you're done recording. You know, let's say you watch 10 minutes of it, and that's all you want. It'll record 10 minutes. Let's say the program's an hour. You record the hour worth of content, and then when you want to be done, you hit the record again, and it'll stop. Now, where does it go? Where does it go? You want to hit the Xfinity button, the menu button, and it'll have a section where it'll have all of your saved content. It'll say saved, and you kind of use the trackpad to scroll over to that, and it'll have all of that. All right. There's going to be a quick video to kind of explain some of this, so hold on. All right. So that's the record button. That's the simple way to record. Let's say you're watching something, you know you're going to watch it, and you just want to record it for later, and you don't want to go into the menu and program to set the record. You're just sitting right there. You're like, well, I'm sitting right here. I just want to record this. Record. All right? All right. So We talked earlier about the exit button. The exit button is a very powerful button because, of course, if you get to a place and there's a screen that you have and you don't want that there anymore, what do? Excellent. You guys are fast learners. Because it took me a while. I'm now an expert, but it took me a while to do that. Another button that's really good is the back button, and that's this arrow here. So let's say I get to a menu, and I'm there, and I don't want to exit. I just want to go back one page. That's the back button. It'll take me back to the previous page. It's also useful if you have you're watching a program and you're going between, let's say, my favorite, the tennis channel, and then let's say I'm also watching, I'm watching a great documentary on another channel, or MSNBC, and I'm going kind of back and forth in between the commercials. This back arrow will allow you to go back to the channel before that, and then back to the other channel. So it allows you to switch back and forth really quickly. Okay? It'll actually store a number of, I think it's 7 channels that you can have in your back menu. So you can actually scroll between 7 or so channels. So you can surf all these channels and not have to go in and put the number in every time. It'll just remember kind of like a favorites list. All right? And that's the back button. And when you hit that, it'll actually display on the bottom of the screen all of the channels that you're watching. And then you can kind of use, again, the cursor here, the little trackpad, to navigate between those, okay? That's the back channel, the back button. The information button is another one, and that's a really great button. I just discovered this recently. Someone asked me, well, how do I know what I'm watching is what some people would hit the guide button, and that gives you a limited sort of look at what you're watching and everything around it. But if you hit the information button, it'll actually display what you're watching in more detail. It'll tell you when the program came out. It'll give you information like the actors in the movie. And other related, by using the trackpad to navigate through it, it'll tell you other films that actor was in or director. It's really great. It just gives you more information. Now, of course, that menu is going to pop up over the screen, and if you don't want to see that anymore, what do? Oh man, this is too easy. All right. Then we have the number keys. You can hit the number keys and put in, if you want to use the number keys to put in a channel. My favorite channel, 623 ESPN. For all the users keeping score, 626. That is really my favorite channel. But ESPN right now has some good tennis on. Okay, all right, 634. We have a winner. 634 is, and you can actually put that in 634, and it'll change to that channel. But let's say I'm feeling extra lazy that day. That can happen. You can use the voice command button. Now, the voice command button is really great. I use it all the time. Maybe I'm feeling extra lazy all the time. Anyway, what you want to do is press this button, and and it's in the center, and you'll hear kind of a chime. I'm going to try to get. Let's see if you can hear it. Did anyone hear? Did you guys hear that? There's no TV around. I'm changing someone's channel right now. No. Once you hear that chime, in the top corner of the TV, this little kind of microphone icon will pop up, and it'll say listening. Now, the really great thing is you can, once it says listening, it'll start recording everything that you say. I remember I was on the phone with my brother, and I said, ESPN. Anyway, what are you having for dinner? And it started typing all of that on the top. Of course, it confused the cable box and did not go to ESPN. So, because I wanted to go to the tennis channel anyway. Anyway, so when you use the voice command, again, wait till it says listening, and you're in a quiet space, and simply say MSNBC, or if you want to watch ESPN, or the tennis channel, or you can say the Mariners game, and it will it'll type it, and if it types what you say, then as if by magic, it will switch to that channel. I think that's the best feature, and it's so easy to use. You can also say numbers. So, for example, our HHTV, if you say HH Connect or HHTV, it doesn't know what that is. So you have to say channel 370, and then it'll go to that channel. But if, let's say you remember your channel, I could say ESPN, or I could say 623, and it'll go to that channel. So you have a lot of options on how to use the voice command, but it's really a great tool. Are we all caught up so far? Like I said, we'll have a copy of this, and we're happy to come up and give you more insight. All right. So DVR, right? It took me a while to figure out how to use it, but it's a great tool, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. I'm going to need some help to get this to work. Okay, I'm going to try that. I didn't do it right. Everybody needs help, right? Yes.
Welcome to the Horizon House Digital Learning Series.
What is a DVR?
DVR,
It stands for Digital Video Recorder.
it's used to record television programs. So you can watch what you want, when you want. There are several ways to access this feature. The most common way to use your DVR is to use the voice command feature. Press and hold the voice command button until you hear a chime. Then slowly and clearly say the program name into the remote. For example, say, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. This menu will appear. Use the arrow keys and the center button to select the show you want to record. The show will be highlighted like so. This menu will appear. Use the arrow keys to select record. This menu will appear. Take your time to edit the settings to fit how you want to record. Go down the list of settings for the recording options and confirm your choices. For example, once you make your choices, a dialog box will appear that says, now your DVR is set to record. Now press the exit button and you can go back to watching TV or power off. The exit button is used to clear the display screen that is showing. The DVR can also record while you're watching a TV program. by just pressing the record button. It will instantly start recording at that point. Press the record button once more when you want to stop recording. Thank you, and this concludes the Horizon House Digital Learning Series.
Sort of. Okay. Close enough. Okay. Do you guys understand that? Does that make sense? Pretty, that video will be, it's part of a digital learning series, and we're going to make more of those, but that is going to be on HH Connect, and so you'll be able to watch it, and there's another video, companion video, about how to use a remote that already exists. So this is going to go up, I think, end of day or start of next week. Absolutely. I'm taking all questions. Oh, no, it was Q&A. What did I do? Wait. Yeah, that is Q&A. Hey, I'm in Q&A. I'm in the right place.
Okay, when the screen came up for record, you had asked for Colbert, and it also listed some cable shows. It had Bill Maher on there. Can you also record cable shows from that same spot, even though you need a subscription and you may be, or only television shows? I'm confused
So
with the interchange between the two.
That's a great question. So it's only going to allow you to record programs that we have access to. So, and there's a list of all the channels that they have in reception, and they can leave that in your box. You can come down and get that. Yeah, and that content is going to be free.
Okay.
I want to caution everyone that there's a way that you can kind of go into the menu, and if there's a movie or a program that's on and it says that there's a cost associated with that. Yes. That is if you use that content, you'll have to pay for that because that's outside of the base platform that we provide. Does that make sense? It'll ask you to confirm. It'll tell you the amount, and it'll ask you to confirm that. So that's something that I would kind of stay away from because that can kind of lead you into more issues.
I was told I saw that I could either rent it for $5 or buy it.
That's correct, but that's going to come at a cost to you. That's not part of the premium package that Horizon House provides.
Over there? To Jim?
If you're watching something like, say, a football game that you recorded, can you fast forward if you don't want to watch the ads?
You can.
How do you do that?
You can. So when you go to, let me go back. So when you go to this menu here, the Xfinity menu, it'll have a drop-down menu that'll show you your saved programs. You click on that by hitting. You can use the cursor to get to that, and then once you find it, you hit the enter button, the select button, and it'll start playing. And at the bottom of the screen, or you can use these arrows here to pause it or to fast forward. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had two conversations going. There is a limit as to the number of hours that you can record now. It used to be you could hold programs forever. Now it's very short.
I think that there's a number of minutes. I think it's 100 hours or 120 hours.
About 100 hours. Not at 100 hours.
Not 100 hours? Then I've been misled. I know that it dropped from other people used to have their own X1 box and they had more hours. Because we're a part of the it's a bulk account, the hours that we can have recorded have shrunk. And I thought it was 100. I might be mistaken. I'll have to check into that and get back to you. My apologies.
Will I get a remote for each TV I have?
You will. And each TV will record separately. So if you record on your living room TV, it will not hold the recording on your bedroom TV.
Will I get a... Oh, okay.
Does that make sense? So if you record it in one place, it doesn't hold it in both.
Okay.
We have a separate remote for Netflix. Is that still going to work that way?
Yes, and what you'll probably do is if it's probably attached for your smart TV or a Roku or Apple TV, and you'll just change the input of where that signal comes from, and it'll allow you to access. Let's say you have Netflix on your Apple TV, and that's where you'll and Amazon and all of that'll be located there, and that's a separate account because those accounts are under your. Those are yours, and so we don't want to kind of cross-pollinate.
So Netflix will come up when I press TV input.
Yeah, when you switch the input, what you'll do is you'll go in and you'll go switch the TV input, and it'll drop down to your smart TV or your TV, and it'll show you. It'll probably say Apple TV or whatever you have, the device that has your Netflix. And then you just kind of switch to that, and then it'll be there. And like I said, depending on the setup, because there are a number of different ways to set it up, I'd have to come and look at your setup to basically show you how to do that. Not everyone has an Apple TV or a Roku, or sometimes it's through their smart TV, and so it really depends on the setup.
So when I haven't gotten the new remote and had the new. So is there a schedule for when those are installed?
Yeah, they were. Comcast is started on Monday. They kind of got a little bit of a late start on Monday, and they started in the North Tower. Originally, they were supposed to start at the 19th floor and kind of work their way down. But because of some technical issues that they ran into on Monday, they started to jump around. And so they'll get to you if you're in the North Tower, I promise you. And but they had a little bit of a setback. It's Comcast, but they're still working. They won't be here today or Monday, but they'll start back up on Tuesday.
Yes, one of the interesting things I discovered the other day is I pushed the microphone button and I said, Seattle Storm's basketball games. It's set up for the entire season.
Yeah, because and that's so what that does is because if there's not a game on right now, it'll show you what's upcoming, and then you can use your DVR to program the time to record those games when they're set to come on. Or it just tells you, hey, as a reminder, there are no games on right now, but there'll be a game on in an hour or tomorrow at this time.
I used the voice command and I asked for Netflix. And I got a message that said I needed to have Infinity Wi-Fi to do that, and I don't understand.
Well, and like I was explaining earlier, the Netflix doesn't go through Comcast. That'll have to be a separate input. That won't go through that. So if you have, let's say, when you had Netflix before on your television, how did you access it?
I didn't have it on my television.
So, all right. So and I'm happy to have someone come up, or I can come up and. There are many ways to access it. So Netflix and those are streaming platforms, and it's really complicated to get access to your streaming platforms, which we all pay for through Comcast. Usually, it's an external device, whether that again be a Roku, an Apple TV, and some of those are accessed through a smart TV where there are apps built in, and so you would have to change your input because you're no longer watching cable. You're switching to that streaming platform in order to access Netflix or Prime or Apple TV. No, you cannot. You'll have to use whatever the remote is that is associated with that device that your Netflix is through. So in smart TVs, if I have a Samsung and I would have to navigate using the Samsung remote. So for me, I'll give you an example. I have my Netflix and Apple TV and all of that stuff. I got all the stuff. And I have that set up through my Apple TV. So I have to change my input because I'm no longer watching cable to my Apple TV. Then once my Apple TV populates the screen, then I have to pick up my Apple TV remote and then I can kind of drive through there.
So the little A, B, C, and D buttons, do you want to talk about those, or can I look them up on the Xfinity website?
You can look them up on the Xfinity website. It can kind of get you into trouble. I know that the B button, it's a deeper dive. These are hotkeys, and they'll allow you to access certain things. I think the B button allows you to go into closed caption. So if you hit that, it'll kind of go into closed caption, and instead of going through a lot of menus. So these are kind of shortcut keys, but they can sometimes get you into trouble.
The C button is for sports, right?
Yes.
I hate to throw a monkey wrench into this thing, but I heard in a small group that you're considering shifting over to a different provider completely in 26. Is that correct?
I think that they're really sort of looking at getting rid of cable altogether and going with more of a streaming platform. But the reason we kind of wanted to upgrade is because I'm a Mariner fan, and Root Sports kind of switched, and it wasn't on the old package, and we wanted to update the equipment package and give people the option to record programs and also higher quality video or content, and make it easier. So that's really the reason that Horizon House wanted to upgrade.
Mark, on the TV input,
Yes.
if you have an older TV, it's not going to say Apple TV. It's going to say HDMI 1, HDMI 2. So you have to know what your device is plugged into, what port your device is plugged into.
That's true. I can have an engineer come up and program it so that your HDMI actually says Apple TV or.
I don't care, but
because you have it memorized. But so there are a lot of different. So what we're kind of looking at, and that's a great point. There are a lot of different models of television and different generations. The television today is so smart. It has you hit the input button and it's got the Apple icon logo already baked into it. It's like, how did you know? And some of the older TVs, like you were saying, just has an input number, HDMI number 1 or number 2. So, and that was like 5 years ago. So the TVs are gotten a lot smarter, or smarter, dumber, in a short amount of time. And so it's really depending on the age of the television you have.
My question is, I used to pay, Infinity, was that who I paid, to record and keep them in my box that you took away?
That's correct.
And all those recordings went away.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I still paying and not getting anything for it?
You should not be paying. If you switched over to upgraded to our Comcast box, you should not be paying. That's in the bulk account, and you don't have to pay. That's another reason we wanted to upgrade, because people had that, but they were paying for that feature, and now it's on the house.
Thank you.
To Nancy.
Okay. Hi, Mark. Thank you very much. Up here.
Where? Oh, I see you. Okay. Hi.
Up here, over here. Mark, thanks for this. This has been really helpful, and you know my system so well. I've learned how to pull out to re-plug it.
Right.
Okay. Now, the selection button you've avoided in the middle.
This one?
Yes.
Well, I did talk about it a little bit. So anytime you're shifting through a menu and you want to say, okay, I've selected it,
Yeah.
you have to hit the enter button.
Enter button.
And that button actually confirms your selection.
Right.
So you can kind of navigate around going left or right, in some cases up or down. And then once it's highlighted, how you have to hit the enter button.
Right.
And then
you
there
can't
go.
just sit there and
No, it'll just, the screen you'll have a staring contest with the screen.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, we're right here. What do you want to
So
do?
selection. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It'll illuminate. It's funny because with this remote, something that's also, you guys might not be able to get a good picture of it, but if it sits there, it's kind of, it doesn't illuminate. But once you kind of move it, the buttons illuminate, and then the center, the selection button, it does light up around the edge.
Mark, does the DVR have any capacity to record streaming information?
It does not,
So I thought-
unfortunately. To be, it can record anything on HH Connect, but you can't go in and set up a time when it records that. You have to kind of hit the record button because HH Connect is an input that, it's too complicated. You can't set up a time. It's not baked into the programming. Anyone else? Was this useful? Like I said, we're gonna get this handout to the reception, and if anybody wants it, you can get it there. If you guys have any questions, because all of the TVs are kind of different, please reach out to reception, and you can set up an appointment. I happen to think that I'm an expert. I'm not an expert, but I happen to know a lot about it, and I'm happy to come up and walk you through any issues or problems that we come up with. There's one question here, and I think
I just have a comment. Thank you for doing this, and I'm very impressed with your video.
Thank you. Did you like the elevator music? It was a girl from Ipanema. It was in the background. I don't know if I was tapping my toe. Anyway, thank you.